I think there's an interesting parallel in this Super Bowl game where Kyle Shanahan is kind of at like the early portions of his Andy Reid arc.
Ooh, okay.
Because Andy Reid, he lost as the head coach of the Eagles. He lost 4 NFC title games, 3 of them were consecutive, and then he lost the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan's kind of doing something similar.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of value in the idea that you can be here every year. You can be in the NFC title game. Every time the 49ers have made the playoffs under Kyle Shanahan, they've made it at least to the NFC title game, which is pretty damn impressive. But he doesn't have the Super Bowl ring. And I remember people saying that Andy Reid couldn't win the big one.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that that's not true.
And people saying, like, he is the worst clock management head coach
Okay,
ever.
that still might be true.
Okay. Well, it seemed like he was worse at it when he was on the Eagles.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better at it.
But that was his that was his reputation, right?
Yes.
It was like, oh man, the Andy Reid School of Clock Management. I feel like that was something I always heard people talk about.
But I feel like there's not as much noise around like Kyle Shanahan can't win the big one or Kyle Shanahan can't do this and that. I think it's like I almost feel like Andy should be looking at a younger version of himself in a way. They got to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs' first Super Bowl win.
Well, that I think is the interesting thing to compare because like they blew that game.
Yes. Jimmy G was a throwaway from being the hero.
Yeah.
And he barely missed Emmanuel Sanders.
They didn't score at all in the end of that game.
Yeah. I just find it interesting that we come and look at these situations and say, oh, Kyle Shanahan can't win the big one. But he's here.
Yeah.
All the time.
And I feel like he's always here.
Right. And when you're within a game away of or being in the game, I don't know how you can say that someone can't do it. But I just found it interesting that they were kind of going through those career parallels.
Does he need a prolific quarterback, though? Because I think, like, I don't give Andy Reid all the success because of Patrick – or I don't know how I –
all the credit for the
exactly,
success.
Thank you. All the credit for the success. But I do think, like, it really, really helps when you have Patrick Mahomes. And obviously Shanahan's not playing the same ball. Like, he's doing it the Shanahan way, even though, like, he's tried. Like, he's tried to get that kind of guy in the draft, and it didn't work out. But I don't know. It's – I think there's a lot – like, I think winning Super Bowls – specifically Super Bowls, not football games in general. But Super Bowls come down to, like, you have to have the right guys. You have to have the right coaches. But I do think there's a lot of luck involved and a lot more luck than I think we give anyone credit for.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A lot of luck is involved in winning and losing these games.
The football is shaped stupidly. And sometimes that actually has an impact on who wins the game.